Hope all is going well with you, and I hope all is going well with yours. You know how we like to start this bad boy off? We like to make up a comment section and run with that before we get to the normal show. And today we want to talk about those five senses. Now I'm calling bullshit on the theory that there are only five senses: touch, sight, sound, smell, and taste. They are not the only ones. Why do people think that we are so unintelligent that we can't handle the idea that there are more than five senses? And I'm going to talk about some of these senses. You have the sense of time. Think about it. You know when it's day and night, your body senses time of day. Sometimes you can call out the time of day without looking at your watch, your smartphone, or your tablet. So you have a sense of that. You have a sense of balance. You know when you're teetering, ready to fall. That's a sense. You have a sense of excitement, sexually, physically, emotionally, spiritually. You have a sense of boredom when nothing will excite you, when nothing is moving you. You have a sense of common sense. Common sense. You have the sense of right and wrong. You have the sense to reason things out. You have extrasensory perception sometimes, which they call a sixth sense, when you feel dread or doom or danger. You have a sense of space. If you didn't, you would not, people would not be claustrophobic. You have the sense of hot and cold, pressure, pain, itching, and tingling. You have the sense of thirst. You also have the sense of hunger, awareness of your body parts. You could feel your toes, your elbows, your knees, your joints, your eyes. I mean, these are senses. Why they continue to tell us we only have five senses when we have so many more? And I'm sure there's senses that I left off. And if you can think of them and I forgot them, please hit me up and let me know and let me think about some of these senses. But some of these senses are super important, especially the one of danger, the sense of hot, the sense of cold, the sense of thirst, the sense of hunger. It's a lot more than just smell, sound, touch, taste. That's just animalistic. And I think it's stupid that we teach people this, that we take to this gospel, that this is like the holy Quran of senses. It's not. There's so much more to the human body. There's so much more to man and woman than just that. Now I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm moving my RIP section to a different portion of the show. I don't know if it upsets people that they have to hear about people passing away at the beginning of the show. So I will bring it in at another form and time during the course of the show. Now I do want to say one thing. Mega Millions, and I never tell you how to spend your money, nor will I think that's right and wrong thing to do. But it's up to 410 million. And for a $2 ticket tomorrow, you have the chance to win 410 million. Maybe you'll be blessed by God so much that your whole family dynamic can change. Go out and buy the $2 ticket. I don't make any money off of Mega Millions. I don't work for any lottery commission or anything like that. I'm just saying you take a chance. So what, you lose and you win 50 or 100, even $25 off your $2. It's more than you had. I mean, if you can afford it, I just think it's a wise thing to do. Now, with the climate that's going on in the United States of America, I've decided that I'm going to do the best that I can to avoid crowds here in America. There are certain things that I wanted to go to. I rescheduled them because I don't feel comfortable, and I'm no coward, but I don't want to walk into situations that just don't make sense. There's a Labor Day parade that's going on coming up in August. I wanted to go. I was planning on going even last year, but with the way people are treating crowd facilities as shooting ranges, I'd rather just watch it on TV or watch it on YouTube the following day. So I'm going to pass on that. I mean, I am heading to Vegas, and I know that I will be in the midst of massive crowds. I'll be at crowds when I go to see the fountains. I'll be at crowds when I go to see the volcano, if that will still be there in September. But I also know that I have to have my head on a swivel. I have to be more careful than I've ever been because everywhere you go is a targeted place. And we will get that to that in a minute. And the reason I even brought that up is because this Robert Crumo III is the dude on the 4th of July shot up that parade in Chicago suburbs and killed 7 people and wounded 38. This dude is an animal. The fact that nobody knew anything that was going on with him, and he had other examples before him of how this ends, and he still went out and did this to innocent people. He left children parentless, he left loved ones in pain. It's never just the people who die who are the victims, it's also the people that they leave behind who are victims. Some people will never feel comfortable doing things again. And it's wrong. We have got to come to some kind of agreement as a mankind that this shall not and this should not ever happen at any point in time. There is no reasons for it. If you're not at war, you do not shoot at crowds. And you're not at war with regular Joe and Jane citizens. They have done you nothing. The idea that we could take our frustrations out on people who have done nothing to us is pure evil. And it's the only way to look about that. Former ESPN reporter and handicapper Hank Goldberg has died at the age of 82. This dude he was a very good handicapper on the NFL. He also did a lot of horse racing, which I care nothing about. If you know anything about me, I'm not a big horse fan. I don't really like the animal. I have nothing against the animal, but I just don't like to be around this particular animal. And James Caan from The Godfather, who played Sonny and Thief. And also, people seem to forget he was in Brian's Song, a very big movie from the 60s about Brian Piccolo, a football player for the Chicago Bears. He died at the age of 74 years old. The former Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated in public. This man was assassinated in public. I don't know what was going on. I guess this dude made a homemade weapon because I don't think guns are easy to come by in Japan. But he decided that he was going to kill this man for whatever reason. So rest in peace to him. And Tony Sirico, who played Paulie Walnuts, he was slightly in Goodfellas. You know him with the silver hair on the side and the kind of pompadour. He died at the age of 79. Everybody loves The Sopranos. Was it the greatest show? No. But did Tony play a great character? Yes, an all-time great. Paulie Walnuts is an all-time great character, and I wish him nothing but peace in his rest. And former 49ers and Seattle Seahawks cornerback Jimmy Williams died at the age of 43. And that's my rest in pieces for this week, and I hope it doesn't grow to a great deal next week. I would love to just have a whole show where I don't have to mention literally anybody, especially a mass shooting event. Now, I watch some TV, and I'm going to tell you now, TV is a little tough because shows get a degree of success and then they go artsy on you. Barry's third season has become very artsy. Flatbush Misdemeanors, also very artsy. The Shy is to the point where it's just stupid at points because everybody is going back into past relationships. If you have moved on from a relationship and 20 years have passed and this person is remarried and you got a new love of your life and you give it all back up to go back with somebody who was a high school sweetheart, it's not reality. And they also are treating Chicago as though it's just the greatest peaceful suburb in the history of mankind where not a lot happens to these young black people. They have no issues. They have no troubles. They go to and fro as they like it. The Boys ended this week, and it was a hell of a story. I don't know with The Boys, you die doesn't mean you're dead because these are superheroes. So people who seem to have died could be resurrected because that's just the way it goes in superhero land. I have not watched Farmer Bro yet. This is the Martin Shankel story. I have not been able to find it. And The Ultimate Fighter is leading into its finale week. And then they're going to have the live event on the Julia Pena Amanda Nunes card. And so far, I have not seen what I would call to be a superstar bounce out of this. I also watched a documentary produced, written, and directed by Nas. You know the rapper Nas. This was about the Supreme Team from South Jamaica, Queens, the drug organization ran by Supreme Griff. It's an interesting three-parter. Is it the greatest? No. Does he still need to work on his skills as a producer, a writer, and director? Sure. But this was his first time out, and I applaud Nas for at least attempting to put a story out there that might not be. Was it kind of pro Supreme Team and didn't want to show them as being as vicious as they may have been? Sure, they did that. This week we had Brittany Grenier. She pleaded guilty to charges, the drug charges in Russia. This was a mandatory thing that she must do. Before you could be found guilty in Russia, you must admit to committing a crime. And then they still put you through the rigmarole of the trial where she'll be brought back and read more charges and brought back and being read more charges before they finally accept the deal. I don't know what kind of trade-off that they're going to get, but I want Brittany to come home. I wish that she never goes back. We don't even know what our relationship with Russia is going to be after this Ukraine deal when we keep giving money to the enemy. So I don't know how that's going to work out. This week, we also have the British Open Championship at St. Andrews. This should be interesting. I'm a huge golf fan. I have my favorites in this. I would say I'm always going for Chantley. I always root for Rory. I also always root for Justin Thomas. Tiger Woods will be playing. Let's see what he has in the tank. I think it's right now, as he goes forward, you want to always see him play because this might be the last time you see him play. You never know how that leg is going to hold up on this lane. And I was shocked to find out this morning that John Wall signed with the LA Clippers. So now John Wall joins a team that has Kawhi Leonard. He joins a team that has Paul George, Reggie Jackson. This team should be able to do some serious dog damage in LA. They should be definitely the best team in LA, especially if Kawhi Leonard comes to work. As long as Kawhi Leonard comes to work and John Wall is healthy, because this dude is basically almost not played in 2 complete seasons. He looks the part. We know he can ball. So they got 3 scorers who can go out there and put it on you, who can all pass the rock, who all play defense, who all rebound well. So the Clippers should be a threat for the title if this comes together like it needs to. The USFL actually made it to their championship game this year. Unlike the year before when Vince McMahon was running them, they cut ties like during the midseason. This year, the Birmingham Stallions actually beat the Philadelphia Stars in their USFL championship 33-30 to be the inaugural rebirth champion of the USFL. So congratulations to Birmingham Stallions. Now, after this season, if this league wants to survive, you got 10 teams or 8 teams. 8 teams need to have 8 homes, which involve traveling, involves 8 different fan bases. They cannot have all these games in Alabama and expect to succeed. It just was not a good look. It was too hard watching these games with empty stands. And I'm hoping for the best for these young men who are trying to still keep their football dreams alive. So Baker Mayfield is now a Carolina Panther. He was traded to the Panthers for a 2024 conditional 5th-round pick. This is a chance for Baker to resurrect his career. I don't know if he's going to be the starting quarterback or Donald's going to be the starting quarterback. He doesn't have a lot of time to learn the offense, to get in sync with the plays, but there's still training camp and preseason, and we'll see how that works. But Baker must feel pretty good to be out of Cleveland. The pressure of that situation is over, but now the pressure of where does his career go from here has begun. The Raiders did something. The Las Vegas Raiders did something that was outstanding. They hired Sandra Douglas Morgan, and she is the first Black woman to serve as a team president in the NFL history. If you are a young woman and you don't know who Sandra Douglas Morgan is, do a little research on her and give her a shout out on Twitter or whatever, and just say congratulations if that's your type of thing, because she's done something that no woman has ever done in the history of a male dominated NFL. So congratulations to her. This past weekend we had a UFC card. Rafael Dos Santos fought Rafael Fiziev, and Fiziev beat Dos Anjos. I mean, in the closing seconds, I don't see how you allow yourself to get taken out in the closing seconds. Was this a great card? No, this was not a great card. Michael Johnson fought, Cynthia Calvino fought, Antonia Shevchenko fought. Uh, there was a couple of knockouts on the card. There was a lot of submissions, a lot of wrestling. I mean, I'm not heavy on the cards that are dominated by the UFC fighters who like to hold people down for 10, 15 minutes, who barely do a lot of ground and pound, but just hold you to the ground and doing it. And hopefully next weekend's UFC card with Brian Ortega versus Yari Rodriguez is better. Now, on that card, you got Michelle the Hottie Karate Waterson. She's fighting Amanda Lemus. Lee Jane Lee is fighting Muslim Salafi. Shane Burgess is fighting Charles Jordan. And Lauren Murphy is fighting Misha Tate. These are hopefully going to be much more exciting fights with a little bit more knockouts, a little bit more people willing to take the risk of at least back and forth throwing blows and kicks. Like I said, it wasn't the world's worst UFC, but every couple of weeks there's got to be a dud, because they do have a lot of cards that have firework. I love the UFC. I enjoy watching. I enjoy the announcing. I'm a big fan of Big Spin. I was not always a big fan of Big Spin, the fighter, but I grew over time to respect his gangster, and I like the way he calls a match. And let's not forget, people, you got more than five senses. Use those five senses. Don't stymie yourself by somebody shortchanging you out of things that you know exist inside you. And like I said before, I don't understand why they teach this to children, why they teach this, and this becomes a part of our lexicon. It becomes a part of our reasoning and factors in as fact when it's false, because this is total BS. There are a lot more senses than the five senses. I'm reiterating that, and I don't want to bore you. I hope that you have a blessed week. I hope that you have a great time, that you stay safe, that you stay healthy, that you get those green lights, that good news, that doctor report that you desperately need to hear. I hope that that person in your life that you need to hear is fine, reveals themselves to you to be fine. I appreciate you listening. If you get a chance, holler at me, hit me an email, a text, whatever you would like to do. I will respond. If it's positive or negative, really doesn't bother me. The fact that you took the time out of your day to listen to me is a blessing to me, and I appreciate you for that. And you have a wonderful and great week. Peace to you and peace to yours.